We wanted to put together events, kind of like, because I started going to church, and I liked church. I liked the community of it. I liked meeting like-minded people that were on a sort of upward path and helping each other out. But I just didn't like the everything went back to Christianity, Jesus, the Bible, and I have so much respect for them, but it's just not enough for me. I want to be able to delve into different religions and different ideas and different philosophies. So I wanted to create this group so people could come together and share their knowledge and their experiences and what they've learned from their own lives. And instead of going to church and learning from just a preacher from the holy book, we can all come together and learn from everyone's experiences and everyone's knowledge. So we started doing a few events last year, and then we went into lockdown. So that didn't, obviously, it all went off. And then me and Zach were both separately traveling basically throughout the summer. So it didn't really pan out. But now we are both in a position where we can start doing this online. And hopefully the format works. So we initially called it Be the Change Society, but we've revamped it now to Be the Change Collective. So we want to create a collective of people that are all supporting one another and sharing from their own knowledge and growing together and passing on experiences to one another to help the whole community grow. So this is our tagline: a community of shared knowledge, so we can together create our best versions of the world. And it's called Be the Change is because I feel like there's so much, like, on an individual level, we need to do the best we can to develop ourselves to the best part of our lives, so we can then carry on and make the differences in the world that we feel are important to us. But there's so many things that are in our way that we can't do that. So the idea is, I felt like I was in a position where I had got my life together enough that I could start sharing with other people and help them to do the same thing, so they can create enough freedom and enough order in their lives so they can then start helping other people. And it creates this leadership in a way where we're all growing and creating higher versions of ourselves and pushing each other upwards, so we can then go out and make the differences that we want in the world. So that's why it says create our best versions of the world. So because each of us have different perspectives of what the best world would be, and each of us have different things that are important to us. So some people might find it important about poverty, or someone might be about animal activism, or ecological issues. And people have all these different things they want to do, but maybe they don't have the freedom in their life to be able to do that. So this is really a community bringing people together to share with one another, so we can all create more order in our lives and then go out in the world and do the things that are important to us. I think I explained that as best as I could. Okay, so this is the writing exercise. I hope everyone's got paper and pen. So what we're going to do is, we were doing this at the writing exercise before, at the events before. We'll only do it for about 5 minutes, and it will really just help you gain some clarity around your life. I mean, I've been doing this all year when I felt like I've needed a new sense of direction. If I felt a bit lost, I was like, okay, what am I doing? Where am I going? Who am I, like, in this moment in my life? So it just helps you to define who you are right now, what position you're in, because to be able to get somewhere, you need to know where you are right now. If you want to go to London and you're in Birmingham, but you think you're in Bristol, you're not going to get very far. So you need to know where you are to be able to get to where you want to go. And then you need to know, like, your strengths and your weaknesses. So it's just about knowing what having that vision of yourself and thinking, okay, yeah, these things are actually my weaknesses. These things are things that are potentially going to let me down, and I can accept that. And I'm not going to stress out about these things that maybe aren't going as well as I planned, because I'm just not as adequate in these areas. And then obviously everyone has their talents. So I mean, for this, I'd probably write down that you could be courageous, but you could have like self-belief issues, so I don't really believe in myself, but I'm courageous. So they kind of counter each other. And then number 3 is, what do you want? Where are you going? So your new story, this is what you should be telling yourself as you go forward. So we've got 3 sections to that. Health. So if you want to, go to the gym, or you want to just help your illness, or to eat healthier, or lose some weight, or gain some weight. Be wealth. It could be anything from career to buying a house, or giving to charity, anything like that. And then C is personal life. So that includes, I think, to me, it's like relationships, community, spirituality, all those things, and your personal development, all those things that are important to you in your own life. So I'm going to leave this on the screen, and then I am going to put a timer on my phone for 5 minutes, and then we'll let everyone do this, and then we'll come back.
Chris, were you expecting all of this in 5 minutes?
Yeah, it only needs to be a very small amount. Like the first bit could only be like 3 sentences, really, or 4, and then the second bit, I mean, you can take longer than 5 minutes if you like, but
well, you kind of have put a lifetime's worth of work up there on the screen. With respect.
We at the meetings before, we did manage to get through them in a fairly reasonable period of time. I want to put 7 minutes on the timer then. Obviously there's this is generous. This is just to be it's just very short, just to get a quick idea of what's going on. When I started this a year ago, I was writing down that because I was working construction at the time, and I was writing down I was working in construction, but my goals were that I wanted to be working full time on YouTube, and I wanted to have my own house in France. And then as we did a few more meetings, and then I started working full time on YouTube, and that moved from the new story to my current story. It moved up, and now I have a house in France as well. So like my story, it's all going to be different now. So like it, and be able to look back and think, okay, I'm actually making progress here. I'm creating like order out of the world. I'm moving forward, and you're creating from what you want into what you have. So it's a process. But I mean, I was kind of expecting people to already have a good idea about these things. But we'll just see how far you get. And I'm going to start a timer now. All right. That's pretty much time, but let's give it a couple more minutes and let everyone wrap up that. I feel like this. It wasn't a lot of time. I admit when we've done it in the meetup group, there was probably more time to explain how it was going to work. I feel like a bit rushed at the moment trying to get this all in. So as in everything in the meeting. So it's just the more we do this and the more regularly people come onto these meetings and they can take part in it even more and participate, the more we'll become used to it and the easier it will flow, I feel like.
Okay, right. Well, I didn't really have something to kind of have a.
Zach was the guy that me and him started this meetup before last year. So and Zach's we're good friends. We grew up fairly locally to one another, but didn't know each other, and now our paths intertwined just from being on the path of growth and spirituality and trying to help people and do our best in the world, really. So Zach's doing this, and he's also creating a emotional healing course at the moment, so we can help more people with that thing that he's very passionate about, which is this. So he's created this. Yeah, I'm sure this is going to be great. No pressure. Take it easy.
Right. Okay. So, welcome everybody. Thank you for coming today, and I'm going to take us through a guided meditation now. It's actually from my own mentor, and it's very esoteric. And I can imagine some of you here will have been attracted to this group because that's something that appeals to you. But it's just kind of a warning just to say, if this feels a little bit strange or out there to you, then yeah, just know. And well, all I can say is that I can reassure you from my own words that it's a positively intended meditation, even though it may seem a little bit maybe odd if you've never come across this kind of thing before. So just putting that out there as kind of like a precursor. So, okay, so let's begin. And Chris, let me know, how's that music coming through? Is it clear? Is it too loud?
Yeah, it's very clear.
Very clear.
Very clear. Maybe turn it down a little bit.
A little bit. Okay. How's
Can't
that?
hear anything.
I can't hear anything. How's that?
No, we can. Very faint.
Yeah. Very faint. Okay.
Yeah, it should come through. We'll get louder. Yeah, I'm gonna mute.
Okay. So how's that now with my voice? With my voice coming through? Yeah, that's good. Okay, cool.
Yeah, good. Yeah.
Okay, so right. So if we can get into a comfortable posture, making sure that the body is free from any tension. Place your hands in the center of your chest and close your eyes. Now take 3 deep breaths, any way you like, but in through the nose and out through the mouth. In through the nose, out through the mouth, in through the nose, and out through the mouth. Now relax and breathe normally again, however you wish. Now you're going to energetically scan your body from top to bottom. So just imagine that there's a green beam of light that's coming down, and it's just starting to scan your body from the top of your head. And as you're doing the scan, you're just looking for any particular form of tension or surface-based debris that you can see. And when you see this kind of tension, see it as black liquid. So as the beam is coming down, it's coming down, and you're just finding any points of tension as it comes all the way down to the bottom of your feet. As it reaches down to the bottom of your feet, you are now aware of those tension points. And I want you now just to focus your energy on the base of your spine and feeling black roots coming out through the base of the spine, going all the way down your feet and through the feet and into the ground. Take the roots deeper and deeper into the earth and connect the roots directly to the earth's heart, the earth's core, connecting them harmoniously and lovingly to the earth. And now bring your awareness to all of that black liquid that you found in the tension points that represents the surface-based tensions. And now you're going to direct that black liquid throughout your body with all of your consciousness, and you're going to push that black liquid and converge it directly into the base of your spine. Now you're seeing that black liquid at the base of your spine, and now you're intending for all of that black liquid, dense energy to now move through the roots and taking it deeper and deeper into the ground and going into the heart of the earth. Now repeat after me. Mother Earth, I love you very much. Please transmute all of this dense energy into pure light. Now you feel it reaching the heart of the earth, and that dense energy is now being transmuted into pure light. And you can see it almost like a white flash that happened. And that is Earth taking the dense energy from her children and purging it and transforming it into light. Now repeat after me. Thank you, Mother Earth, for your assistance and help. And now we are going to work with the chakra centers. Firstly, we are going to now feel the energy of Mother Earth, the brown energy from her, moving up now through our feet, coming up past our ankles, moving up past our knees, coming up directly to the base of our spine. And this brown energy of Mother Earth is now grounding us. It's grounding us into the earth like a tree with roots. And now the brown energy is converged at the base of the spine. So now we're going to start off with the chakra centers and spinning them in a counterclockwise direction, which will move them into the alignment with connecting with spirit. So the first one, of course, is the root chakra, which is colored red. It's like an apple red. And you're just seeing this kind of red liquid, a red energy directly within your mind's eye. And you can either take your physical hand or your astral hand and your finger, and you're just going to start swirling this pool of red liquid counterclockwise 7 times. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Now we're going to move up into the sacral chakra, or the navel chakra, which is where your belly button is, roughly. And this chakra is colored orange, like orange peel. Again, seeing that orange liquid in your mind, swirling that orange liquid in your mind, counterclockwise, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Now moving up into the solar plexus chakra, which is colored yellow, like lemon peel. Now again, seeing the color yellow in your mind, swirling it counterclockwise, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Now moving up into the heart chakra, colored green, like grass. Seeing that pool of green liquid within your mind, swirling it counterclockwise with your finger. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Moving it up now into the throat chakra, which is colored aquamarine, sky blue. Seeing that color in your mind and counterclockwise 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Now moving up into the third eye chakra, which is colored ocean blue, a darker blue. See it in your mind, and now counterclockwise 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And now finally moving up into the crown chakra, which is colored violet. See it in your mind. Counterclockwise 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Now bringing your focus and awareness down to the abdomen. Taking a deep breath in, lifting all that oxygen up into the crown. And as you exhale, feel the crown chakra opening up and feeling a cascading rainbow light coming down your body, cascading down like a fountain, going all the way down to the bottom of your feet. And now the rainbow light starts moving up from your feet and connects directly into the groin. As the rainbow light connects to the groin, we now bring our focus and awareness to the heart. And we're just tuning into the heart for just a moment and just feeling our own heartbeat. And now, as we inhale, then exhale, fill in a toroidal field that's coming from the heart and it's expanding out to the top of your head and the bottom of your feet. Almost like a donut shape, torus field. Now see the entire toroidal field moving in a counterclockwise direction as it moves very slowly, softly and subtly in a counterclockwise direction. We are now focusing just behind the heart. And as we focus just behind the heart, it is where our creator spark, our creator light is. And you're feeling that white light of spirit shining out the back of the heart. Feeling that white light now coming into the toroidal field and imbuing itself completely into the toroidal field. Now you are feeling a glowing effect, that glowing spirit light, flowing through the toroidal field as it continues to rotate counterclockwise. Slowly and subtly with you. So now, spirit light is with you. Now repeat after me. Spirit, I command you to clear out any excess debris from the field. Let it be done. Apply. Now take one deep breath in and one deep breath out. And now we're going to come back into the present moment. And we can open our eyes. Okay, great job, everybody. There we go. That was good. How did everyone find that?
It was good. Thank you.
Oh, you're welcome.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
Very good. The music was a tad loud at certain points when the vocals came in, really,
Yeah.
but great meditation. Powerful.
Zach. Thank you, Zach.
Oh, you're welcome. Cool. Good. Right. I am still okay. Well, I guess we're going straight into the next section. I'm glad that was well received. That's good. Okay, so the actual presentation, right? Well, good. Awesome. Okay, right. Okay. So this presentation is being split up into two sections. The first part, of course, is today. It should go on for around about 20 minutes. And the next part 2, will be Monday, where we actually get into the actual kind of nuts and bolts, the juicy part of how to actually do it. But this part is more just about explaining the fundamentals about it. And again, I could tell, well, first of all, I'll tell you a little bit about myself. So my name is Zach Hayter, and I have been studying, shall I say, spirituality, philosophy, different healing modalities, and also personal development for the past, well, say 7 years or so now. And yeah, I've really dived into a lot of different avenues. So this is pretty much a combination of everything that I've learned from my own mentors, different teachings that I've combined together into this one place. So, and now, again, I just want to reiterate that I've tried to tame this down so it's not so esoteric, but generally I kind of can't help myself at this point because it's just me. So where I am now in my own path and my own journey. So just wanted to share that as well. It's fairly tame, but there may be points. No, it's tame. It's tame. But there we go. I've tamed myself, which doesn't really kind of goes against my own who I am, but at the same time, it's good how I've done it. So I'm happy with it. So I hope that it is well received, and I'm sure that it will be. So there we go. Right, so emotional healing and love cultivation, part 1 and 2. So the first section is, what is emotional healing? So to first understand what emotional healing is, we first need to understand what causes the need for the healing in the first place. So there are the 3 core emotions: anger, sadness, and fear. All of the other negative emotions are essentially sub-emotions of the 3 core emotions of anger, sadness, and fear. And all of the 3 core emotions can be traced back to one thing, which is lack, which, just like fear, is the opposite of love. Now, when I say emotional healing, I'm also referring to emotional integration, shadow work, and inner child work. And some of you here may or may not have heard of those terms, but this is what we're going to go through today. So this term shadow work, what is meant by the term shadow? The shadow is the subconscious aspect of ourselves that tends to come out to play within us unconsciously, without our awareness at times. And it usually plays out as destructive patterns within our relationships, our work, health, and overall sense of well-being. It's those moments when we see ourselves acting out like we're 5 years old again, when something doesn't go our way, or we feel threatened or upset. This is the inner child aspect of ourselves that forever stays with us right up until the day when we transition from our body. The inner child and the ego are intimately linked and are essentially one and the same thing. The inner child can be seen as our pure and innocent self, while our ego is the part of us that stands guard and protects the inner child from harm. A shadow aspect of us tends to be created when we experience one of the 3 core human traumas, either abandonment, rejection, and abuse. And similar to the 3 core human emotions, the three core human traumas. Of course, there's many different types of trauma that we can experience, but all the different traumas can relate back to one of these three or a combination of them. Okay, where are we? The shadow's creation comes when we have disassociated from a negative emotion that we felt around a traumatic moment in our lives for whatever reason, or we were unable to find positive resolve within ourselves from how that event made us feel. It is most common that our shadow or our trapped emotions first start to form in childhood and our younger years. For example, now I'll explain scenario one, and this will be explaining abandonment trauma. So say, for example, when we were 4 years old, we felt this overwhelming emotion of abandonment when our mother dropped us off at our first day of school. We were then either told to suck it up by our teacher in order to avoid disruption in the classroom and for the lessons to commence. So we then felt we had to bury that emotion within us without feeling it through entirely. Or alternatively, we had a chance to feel that emotion through in that moment, but didn't have anyone around to comfort us, hold us, and nurture us in the way that we felt we needed at that moment in order for us to feel safe, secure, and connected with our caregiver again, which in this case was our mother. And now scenario two, rejection trauma. For example, when we are 12 years old, we were bullied in school because we were overweight or because we didn't fit in with the main crowd. Our peers essentially rejected us based on our appearance or who they perceived us to be. In one case, you could be male, and as such, you were conditioned on a societal level to suck it up because big boys don't cry, thus completely burying that heavy emotion into your shadow by neglecting to feel it. Or in another case, you could be female, and it could have possibly played out that you decided to go home and cry your eyes out, but despite this, you felt the emotion, but despite this, you never really realized how important it was to bring love energy into yourself to counterbalance the lack and pain you were feeling from the rejection you just experienced. So you continued to carry the emotion with you as it kept getting re-triggered again and again by the same peers because you didn't know how or why it was important for you to love yourself to the point where you could cleanse the heavy emotion of sadness out of your emotional body. So now, scenario three, abuse trauma. For example, in the home environment, your father was very emotionally abusive towards you and your sister because when he was growing up, that's how his father treated him. The emotional abuse affected you on a very deep level because you depended on being loved by your father in order to survive. But obviously, you did not want to be shouted at. And so when you attempted to stand up for yourself by acting out or shouting back, you soon realized that that only ever led to you receiving more abuse. So to ensure your survival, you realized that the only way to cope with the emotional abuse was to dissociate from the shouting and anger he would project onto you and your sister so that you didn't have to feel the pain of his abuse. Yet through this dissociation, this switching off, you subconsciously bottled up your own anger you felt from being abused and treated in this way. In all three of these scenarios, an emotion was left unresolved and thus bottled up within the child that would then stay with the child into adulthood until the emotion was acknowledged, felt, and given love in order to bring it to a state of neutrality. So why is emotional healing important? Emotional healing is important because, from my perspective, it is one of the most unrealized super tools in personal development, self-empowerment, and quality of life enhancement. Instead of working on the surface level or just focusing on the mental body alone, like much of the generalized mainstream mental health system does, this modality of emotional integration and love cultivation in the way that I'm describing it today goes straight to the root cause of the less than desirable patterns we experience in our lives, and not only brings them to our awareness, like a lot of therapeutic modalities do, but also directly remedies them in such a way that it causes the emotional traumas, not mental issues alone, to transmute so that they can no longer exist in the same way to negatively impact our reality. Now, to understand this dynamic and how it works on an energetic level, we can use the law of attraction. So if you wish to understand, this is a quote, so if you wish to understand the universe, think of energy, frequency, and vibration. And this is a quote from Nikola Tesla, who was, very few people tend to have ever heard about him because, anyway. The human being is no exception to this universal rule. Now, I'd like you to look at your hand and take your hand and look at your hand a moment. And now imagine all of the trillions of atoms that make up your hand. Now, at the subatomic level, imagine the untold numbers of neutrons and electrons that comprise your hand, and observe each one of them right now buzzing, oscillating, and vibrating at a certain frequency rate. This same principle goes for your entire body in the same way. Your entire body is constantly vibrating at a certain frequency rate. Now, emotional energy also vibrates at its own unique frequency depending on the emotion. For example, here we can see, I don't know if the quality of my stream is going to be good enough to read that, but we've got like,
we can see it fine.
Okay, we've got like the really heaviest emotions, which are right at the bottom here: fear, grief, depression, powerlessness, victimhood. And it goes all the way up, like jealousy, hatred, rage, blame. You know, you can all see those on the screen. And it goes right up the way to optimism, positivity, enthusiasm, passion, and love and appreciation, and joy right at the top. So every emotion has its own unique frequency signature. And the emotions we feel, either positively or negatively charged emotions, directly influence our overall vibration. And for example, you can see here, like anger that is causing a flare-up of all of your almost a, well, yeah, it is a subatomic level even. It goes beyond that. Essentially, we're just made up of light. Everything within the universe is made up of photonic light, just densely packed in certain cases or less densely packed. And so, looking upon this, we can see how different emotions affect the vibratory state of our body. It's not really the best example. It's pretty much impossible to describe or present this actually, but in physical reality, it's quite hard to explain, but this is probably the best thing I can think of. So, when we experience these traumatic events in our reality and we don't feel out nor find resolve with the heavy emotion that was catalyzed within us from that event, that emotion then gets trapped within, where did we go? Chris, I think you pressed. Whoa, we just, okay. Okay, when we experience these traumatic events in our reality and we don't feel out nor find resolve with the heavy emotion that was catalyzed within us from that event, that emotion then gets trapped within one or more of our chakra centers. Chakra centers are, in one way of looking at them, energy houses. They can emit, move, and even store energy within them, and that includes emotions. They're actually very good at storing emotions, particularly heavy ones, it seems. These heavy emotions get stored within our primary chakra system, most often in the heart, the solar plexus, sacral, and the root, but also sometimes and less commonly in the throat, third eye, and even the crown at times. These emotions can even nest themselves in our organs, and even our limbs. depending on the type of trauma and circumstances of what we went through. Now, with the law of attraction, frequency of vibration attracts frequency of vibration, or the frequency of the vibration of the emotion of fear of abandonment is a vibrational match to the frequency of vibration of an event happening where we get abandoned. In this universe, like attracts like, energy attracts like energy. Right now, you are emitting a specific overall vibrational frequency. This overall vibrational frequency includes any lower frequency emotions you may have trapped in your chakra centers. Thus, these lower frequency, heavier emotions trapped in your chakra centers keep your overall baseline frequency lower than it naturally can be or is. These emotions stored in our chakras then stay with us, but under the surface of our conscious awareness. They then manifest themselves in our lives, often unconsciously in ways that we may not prefer. As stated, they can create negative patterns in our romantic relationships. They can block us from making long-lasting and enjoyable friendships. They can hold us back from pursuing that career path we'd always dreamed of, but never felt like we could make it happen. They can even manifest health issues within our physical bodies, because the body is having to hold on to such a dense and lower vibrational energetic. Now, for example, going back to the 3 scenarios I presented earlier on, the first scenario of abandonment trauma. In this example moment, when we felt abandoned by our mother as a child at school, because we either repressed the emotion or were unable to love and support ourselves adequately in that moment, the emotions of sadness and fear relating to that trauma of abandonment embedded themselves into one or more of our chakra centers. From that point on, we subconsciously carried that emotion within our bodies. And so whenever we created an intimate bond with, for example, a romantic partner or friend, the feeling of closeness would trigger the trapped emotion of fear and abandonment. For example, the emotion may start catalyzing unsubstantiated thoughts of our partner leaving us that are not necessarily based in reality. So we then start behaving in a clingy way towards our partner because we feel that without that person in our life, we are not whole and complete, that we don't love ourselves enough to be okay without them. The interesting thing here is, and this is where the law of attraction comes in, the very vibration of that fear of abandonment we are carrying within our chakras will actually manifest for us in our relationship with this person because we are a vibrational match to that event happening. For example, we will subconsciously create the event of our partner leaving us because of our clingy and perhaps toxic controlling behavior stemming from our fear of abandonment that then becomes unbearable for our partner to compromise with over time. And so they then leave us, thus creating the very thing we were afraid of in the first place. It's like the universe just giving us what we didn't want, but we were a vibrational match to anyway, so the universe couldn't help but give it to us. So now scenario 2, rejection. In that example moment, when we felt rejected by our peers in school, when they bullied us for being different, because we either repressed the emotion or were unable to love and support ourselves adequately in that moment, the emotions relating to that trauma of rejection, again, embedded themselves into one or more of our chakra centers. From that point on, we subconsciously carried that emotion within our bodies. And so, for example, in later life, we perhaps start seeing someone in a romantic sense. And because we are holding on to this fear of rejection within us that comes with a low sense of self-worth, perhaps, most commonly, the universe will reflect that back to us in the form of the person we've started seeing rejecting us before we can even establish a relationship in some cases, because they could sense from our vibration how unworthy we felt within. And so they just mirrored that back to us. Or in an opposite scenario, we are so afraid of getting too close and intimate with a lover because we're afraid of being rejected, We actually put up these walls around our heart to protect us from getting rejected and thus hurt. This naturally then creates distance between us and our lover. So eventually they end up rejecting us anyway because they feel like we're rejecting them. Now, scenario 3, the trauma of abuse. In that example moment, when we were emotionally abused by our father in the home environment, because we were oppressed and disassociated from how we felt, as we did not feel we could stand up for ourselves or protect ourselves without losing the love and support of our caregiver. We then started subconsciously giving our power away to people in our lives in the form of people pleasing. This can manifest especially in our most intimate relationships, where instead of standing up for ourselves and not putting our own needs first at times when we really need to, we will bow down to our partner's needs whenever they get angry, because we are still subconsciously afraid that if we put ourselves first, we will just be met with more abuse. On the opposite polarity to this, instead of giving their power away, some people will become abusive towards their partner when involved in an intimate relationship as a form of defending themselves from the possibility of being abused again. Now, while you cannot escape or run away from your shadow or your overall vibrational frequency, what you can do is transmute your shadow into the light, and in the process, you change your overall vibrational frequency. By feeling your trapped emotions and by engulfing them in the love energy that they always so desperately needed, this process transmutes the trapped emotions, integrating them in a sort of alchemical process, which by the very fact of you no longer holding such a strong negative emotional charge within your chakra centers, it frees you significantly from being a vibrational match to you being abandoned, rejected, or abused. So, who is emotional healing for? The examples of traumas I've presented here today, while quite common ones, are but a very small sampling of the vast myriad of different traumas that people on the planet today have collectively experienced. Now, while it does not serve to compare nor judge one person's trauma load or intensity to another person's trauma load or intensity, traumas do vary in their intensity on an individual basis. For example, one person could look back on their childhood and see that they can't recall any specifically harsh traumatic memories. Yet, when they were 5 years old, they strayed from their mother while in the supermarket, which then created abandonment trauma within them. While another person may have endured intense sexual abuse, along with being heavily bullied in school, all the while being completely physically and emotionally abused, as well as then abandoned by their parents, all before the age of 12. So with these perspectives in mind, almost everyone on the planet right now is carrying a certain amount of heavy emotion within them, to some extent or another, even if their childhood was seemingly trauma-free. So essentially, emotional healing can benefit almost everybody to some degree, but it can be especially beneficial to those who are noticing challenging patterns within their relationships, feel they have a low sense of self-worth, feel disempowered in some way, or have any chronic health issues. So, in the conclusion of Emotional Healing Part 1, today we have covered how the need for emotional healing arises, the underlying dynamics of trapped emotions, how trapped emotions stemming from our younger years affect us in the now moment, and why emotional healing is important and the benefits of it. So, in Emotional Healing and Love Cultivation Part 2, we will dive into the juicy part of how to actually heal our emotional body, including how to cultivate love energy within ourselves to achieve this. So, thank you. And I don't think we're doing a Q&A on this part, but thank you for watching, and I hope that was helpful. And there we go. Well,
Thank you, Zach. Thank you very much. Okay, what am I doing here? Stop share.
cool.
Thanks for that. That was great. Fantastic.
Thank you. It's like a last minute thing. Literally did it in like 9 hours.
Well, you obviously spent a lot of time thinking about that and putting all that together, so that's amazing. Yeah. We were actually, I know you said we weren't going to take Q&A, but we were actually going to have a break now. If anyone wants to go to the toilet to the loo or get a drink or anything, we're going to take 5-10 minutes. And then, but also if you don't want to go, we can have a little discussion about that. And if anyone's got any questions, comments, or observation, then fire away. Yeah. Just to be clear, like I know we're kind of in a way assuming that people know about things on a certain level already, like the chakra system and things like that. I hope everyone's aware of that. That's a belief that we have an energetic body, basically our soul within which is ourself, and we have energy centers throughout our body, and the primary energy centers are the 7 that run from the base of our spine to the top of our head. And that belief system comes, the Egyptians followed that belief system, the Hindus followed that belief system. So it's something that people have followed and studied and felt and believed in for thousands of years. And if you've done yoga or Tai Chi or anything like that, then they quite often use that for teaching as well, I think. It's it's a great model to work around for sure when doing meditations or energy work within yourself. Yeah. Anything to add, Zach?
Fantastic. Okay, I can't really add anything to that.
Yeah. All right. Well, I will just share then. I don't want to talk too much, but this is kind of like this time we're going to do, before we were doing like meetings, we would do, each meeting would be a different subject, but I think now we're doing it online. We're going to do it like this. So we're going to do 2 meetings over the same subject. So it will potentially give us time to maybe do some of the exercises in between and then share our experiences or share anything that's come up in between the 2 meetings, but we'll see how that goes. But the idea of this is for people that want to, and that feel like they want to gain confidence and that they feel like they have value that they can share, and or knowledge about a subject that they feel that would benefit the rest of the group. They can volunteer to do a presentation or just speak for a couple minutes about something that's happened in their life, an experience, a story that's impacted them. And it not only helps the rest of the group from what you're sharing, but it also helps you so much because you're introspective so much within that period. So for Zach to do this presentation, which is incredible presentation, he had to put so much time and effort into getting his own ideas and his own thoughts and his everything that he knows about the subject in alignment. So it helped him gain like tenfold more clarity on that subject. So, I mean, if anyone would like to do that next time or the time after that, if you want to come back, that is, then have a think about like experiences in your life that have been like maybe aha moments or things you look back on and think, oh, I'm never doing that again. Things you've learned from that you can share with the rest of the group, and that people you feel like can learn from, and it will help you to be more introspective in that time as well. All right. Jacqueline, any questions? Now you're back. Okay. I liked it that I could see you during that presentation. I'm not sure how I can do that with my presentation. I asked Zach to do the presentation on emotional healing because it's something that's very close to him, that he's done a lot of work with, and like I said earlier, he's creating a course around. which will be amazing when it's finished. And surrender is something that I have used and has helped me gain new levels of energy and just release and letting go of things that are bothering me and things that I didn't even know that was wrong with me, but I felt like they came out and I purged this emotion that was didn't know where it came from, and it just makes you feel spectacular when you do this. So similar to emotional healing, surrender is about setting ourselves free of the things that are creating unnecessary stress and blocking our growth in life. So those things could be it within us, within our energetic body, like burdens and heavy loads we're carrying with us, through greater understanding, and when we put into practice a powerful way of letting things go, we feel like a mountain of pressure is lifted off our shoulders. And like I said just now, this practice has personally been one of the biggest catalysts for transformation in my own life. And the amount of positive energy that is created through this is breathtaking. So surrender in religion, just wanted to give some sort of, I'm just kind of building a case really, like why this is an important thing and why it's powerful, because it's been a principle and a practice that's been used for thousands of years, and it's really, really, really incredible. So Christians, when they become Christian, they have to accept the Lord Jesus Christ as their savior, so they will be saved. So they're surrendering their life, they're giving their life to Jesus Christ there, so they can be saved by him. In Islam, the principle of surrender is when someone abides to the 5 main pillars of Islam, and following that faith means surrendering to God's will. You're giving your life over to God. In Hinduism, Bhagavad Gita points followers of the faith to surrender and devote themselves to Krishna, and through this they will be then delivered from sinful reactions and out of fear. And Buddhism, which is possibly one of my favorite religions to go to and take like deep, meaningful golden nuggets. Buddhism asks us to, these aren't my words. I found this and I realized it was much better than something like a right, so I stole it or borrowed it. Buddhism asks us to relinquish the domination of the ego and its habits. We can do this by understanding the emptiness of the self or ego. We can also understand this as the surrender of the ego into a deeper aspect of our nature that is transforming us. We may find that surrendering in this way is unfamiliar, but there are Buddhist practices intended to facilitate exactly this, particularly the practice of prostration, which is, if you've seen Muslims, I believe, do that when they go to the call of prayer and they put their head to the ground. That's what prostration is. If you go on your knees and you put your head down to the ground, and this is like, it puts your body in a physiological way of releasing things, of letting things go, of understanding your humility and humbling yourself before all of life. In the 12-step programs, AA, all these Addictions Anonymous groups, the first 3 steps is first we admitted we are powerless over whatever it was, and that our lives had become unmanageable. And step 2 is we came to believe that a power greater than ourselves could restore us to sanity. And step 3 is we made a decision to turn our will and our lives over to the care of God as we understood him. And I wanted to make a point about that. I mean, there might be some people here that don't believe in a higher power, God, the Most High, Krishna, Buddha, all of those things that kind of I see as the universe, but even if you don't believe in a higher power, you can believe something. You can believe in is your best version of yourself, your higher self, the best way that you're acting in the world. And that's not always you, because we all know that sometimes we don't act in the way we should, in the best way that we could. And but that doesn't mean that that best part of you isn't there. It's still there within you. It's part of your shadow, what Zach was talking about. And we have these different personalities within us, and that part of you is there, and you can call upon it. You can call upon that part of you, and it will rise to the surface and do these things for you that you didn't really know was possible. You know, in your worst state of mind, you might not be able to do the things that you could do in your best state of mind. So this is a big thing that we can do. So these are the things that we might be hanging on to, like things we're trying to over control, or things that don't serve us. So addiction is one of them. And even if you don't have a huge addiction, it can be even more worrying, because you don't notice them, like small things, small compulsions, small addictions, eating in a certain way, acting in a certain way, and things that maybe in modern day society are seen as probably okay, but when you really delve deep into what's going on, they're not serving you. You can be holding on to past relationships, or just past memories of sometimes, you know, you play these memories over in your head again and again of things, and say, oh, I wish I did something differently there. I wish I said something differently. You know, we can hold on to guilt that because we hurt someone, we did something that we weren't acting as our best self, and we did something that hurt someone else, and we feel guilty for that. We've got limiting beliefs, self-imposed boundaries that we don't feel like we can achieve the things we want to achieve. Maybe limiting beliefs that someone else has imposed upon us, you know. Desires are I think, I mean, in Buddhism they tell you to like relinquish your desires, to like let them all go. And I think something that I've observed is that they do need to be let go in a way. Your desires, it's okay to intend for something to happen, but if you're too controlling over something, if you're trying to control it too much, then the universe will not let the good that you are trying to create flow into your life. Okay, it's saying my internet connection is unstable, but can everyone still hear me?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. And also in the Buddhist faith, they talk about surrendering your ego. So this could be an issue where you don't think that you are worthy of surrendering these things, or you think that your ego is telling that you that surrender is not something that you can do. Surrender is something maybe that you're not worthy of. Surrender is something that is below you, because your ego is telling you can work these things out yourself, that you can control them. And we're told that, I think, in personal development, that we do, you know, we are the masters of our fate, but we create the lives that we intend to more efficiently when we hand it over to something that's greater than ourselves. And that's why these religions and these groups have been teaching this for thousands of years. So those things could be, I mean, me and Zach were talking the other day, and we were trying to get our head around this a bit. And Zach said, why would we need to surrender the things that we can control? Surely we just need to surrender the things that are out of our control, but that we are trying to control, which can be a big issue. People can try and control things that aren't in their control. But even things that are in your control, like you could say your finances are in your control, your health is in your control, your relationships are in your control. But those things will pan out, and they will unfold in a much more beautiful and more efficient and easier way if you let yourself go with those things, let your desires go, let your ego go around those issues. And there is a balance. Obviously, you can't just let everything go and then do nothing. There's the balance of action and walking the path, and then letting go, surrendering the outcome. So there's obviously things that are actually out of your control. We sometimes we get worried about things we can't control. I can't, like, a bus is late or something like that, and we stress ourselves out about it, or a plane is delayed. These things that are out of our control, or situations in our life that we can't control. Maybe sometimes we try and control other people, but we can't do that. So we need to be able to surrender that and let things go. And then the things we are holding on to that aren't serving us, which could be like past relationships, guilt, limiting beliefs, memories, grudges. If we're holding grudges against people that did something against us, maybe, that is not doing anything good. I saw a quote. It was, holding a grudge is like poisoning yourself and expecting the other person to be hurt. I completely botched that, but I think you get the idea. So old relationships, belief systems, memories that we cling to, or grudges we are still holding, these can be released. We often put too much pressure on ourselves to try and control everything. The ideas we have of the future and the things we try to control in the present can actually create more stress than empowerment. And it's like, we don't get told this in personal development. You say just write your goals down every day and visualize every day, and it will create the dream life for you. And I've tried that and it didn't work. And I'm not sure if anyone else has been trying that, or it's you're putting too much pressure on it and not letting the good come to you. This is something I found that I just thought I'd stick in here. So the expectations of others were the bars I used for my own cage. I thought it was quite fitting. I think that's actually the end of my presentation. I'm not sure if I've got anything else to say. These things, I'm just going to explain how I feel like this can, in the same way as Zach was explaining it through the law of attraction. When you release these energies that are creating blocks within you, these things that are dragging you down, it's like you have a goal, and the goal is to climb to the top of the mountain, but you have a backpack full of rocks, and you can let those rocks go. Those things that are holding you back, that you're carrying with you, you don't have to carry those with you. Those things, if you know how to, if you know the right ways, you can just let them go, and you can feel like a mountain of weight has been lifted off your shoulder, and then you can get up to the top of the mountain. You can achieve the goal. You can let life guide you to the place you'd like to go. I'm gonna stop sharing a second again, and then I'm gonna tell a little story, and then we're gonna do a surrender together. The story is about a droplet of water that was frozen in ice on the top of a mountain. And this little droplet of water just loved his life. He was so happy. The air was so clear. It was so crisp, beautiful every day. But one day, the sun came out and melted the ice. And the little droplet of water was defrosted and started streaming down the side of the mountain. And he wasn't having a good time. And as soon as he got below the clouds, it was cloudy, it wasn't sunny, it was raining. And he thought, oh, I just want to be back at the top of the mountain. I want to be back. And he went into a stream, into a river, this whole time fighting, trying its best to get to the back, to the top of the mountain, fighting against the flow, the current of the river. And then an animal drunk from the river and drank the little droplet of water. And then, as it happens in life, the animal passed away, it died, and its body decomposed. And the moisture that was within that animal evaporated. And the little droplet of water rose up out of the animal into the sky and became moisture in the atmosphere. And then one day, all the moisture came together, created a cloud, and rained down back on top of the mountain. And the little droplet of water was returned home. But the whole time, he was fighting against the flow, the current. And if he had just let go, it would have been a much more enjoyable, easier journey. So that is a little story that I heard a while ago, and I just like to tell it. And it just, for me, it shows like the importance of surrender, and that if you can let yourself, if you can let these things go, like there's so many things, issues that we have that we need to let go, but also things that we're trying to achieve, you know, in personal development and law of attraction. They say, you know, you have all these goals and focus on them, and when you focus on them, that you'll create that. But I believe, yeah, you need to know where you're going. You need to intend on the right thing. You need to desire things, but you need to be unattached to them. You need to be able to surrender them, and then just do your best every day, you know, and walk the path. As long as you put that intention out there in the universe, that is created, that is there, that is a possibility that's out there now in the universe. And you can surrender the outcome then, and then just walk towards it by doing your best every day. Right, I need to find some music. Okay, that's not where I'm going. And then we are going to do this short thing. Oh, timing is quite good. Where is it? Oh, I need to share. I'm just gonna put my headphones in. One of them. Make sure I've got the right mic. Yep. Okay. Can everyone hear that?
Yeah, it's really loud.
It's loud. Okay. I don't know exactly. Is that better? Yeah. Down a bit more. I don't want it too loud. I'm just gonna go right down. Good.
It's not changing.
It's not changing. All right. I'm on the wrong setting.
Oh yeah. No.
Better?
Yeah.
Right. Sorry about that. All right. You can turn your cameras off if you want. I'll leave mine on. Okay. Just want everyone to get comfortable in their seat and bring their hands into the center together at their chest. And take 3 deep breaths in through the nose and out through the mouth. In and out. In and out. Now I want you to open your hands up to your sides. Your palms open, facing forward. Your eyes closed. And as you breathe in, I want you to feel the love of life, of God, of the universe, coming into your heart center, right in the center of your chest. And then as you breathe out, you're radiating that love back out into your life. Breathing in, harvesting that love in your chest, and as you breathe out, radiating that love out into your life. One more time. Now just stay where you're positioned. And I want you to know that life loves you. God loves you. The universe loves you. People love you. Animals love you. And you can love life back. I want you to feel that right now in your heart. Now I want you to bring your hands back into the center, in front of your chest. I want you to take a deep breath in. And when you're in, repeat after me, I forgive myself. And release. In, I forgive myself. And out. In, I forgive myself. And out. Now I want you to repeat after me. I open myself up. I give myself freely, willingly, openly, joyfully. I give my past, all my ideas about the past, all my hopes and my plans and my ambitions for the future. My ideas about who I am right now and the situations in my life. I surrender. I surrender them over to you, God, the universe, my higher self, my best self. I surrender. Take my life. My life is yours. Do with it what you wish. Take my heart if you wish. I forgive myself. I forgive myself. I forgive myself. Now I want you to just breathe deeply in through the nose and out through the mouth. And feel the emotion rising up within you. And when you're ready, lower your hands and open your eyes. Now, this is a process that won't happen all at once. It's something that will happen over time, and we'll have peaks and troughs, and you can do this yourself, and you can put on a song that makes you feel emotional, something that you connect with. We all have songs and different types of music that do that for us, and you can get down on your knees and you can cry, and you can put your head to the floor, and you can, scream if you like, and doing this regularly will create a sense of freedom that we all desire, that we're all looking for, to create joy in our lives, so but it is a process, and as you go through this process, it might not happen in the moment. You might put on a song that you like. I've gone through so many different songs that I hear a song and I'm like, wow, I can really feel that. I can really feel that song. It's making me feel emotional. So I'll go into a private space and I'll put that song on and I'll just pour my heart out and I'll just ask for guidance and I'll surrender all the worries and cares in my life. And maybe you won't feel a release in that moment, but maybe then you'll go downstairs and 10 minutes later you'll be watching something on TV and you'll see an advert and you'll just start bawling out, crying, and all this emotion is just pouring out of you, and that is the release we're looking for. That is the emotion you're carrying with you that you might not know is there, and I've felt that, because like Zach said earlier, that I didn't feel like there's any real trauma in my life, but when I've been doing this exercise, there's been so much emotion that has poured out of me, that's been purged out of me, that I didn't know where it's come from, and it feels great. You're laughing and you're crying, and afterwards you feel light as a feather, like you could walk on the ocean. It's beautiful. It's an amazing thing. Yeah, so that's it. If we've got any questions, comments, or observations, or any questions about the group or what's going to happen at the next one, or anything.
That was great. Thank you. That was really good.